Three varieties of Theobroma cacao, and Theobroma cacao is the scientific name for chocolate. Forastero, Criollo, and Trinitario. We grow the Forastero, and we have growers also that grow the Criollo. Criollo is a rare find of chocolate. Less than 10% of the world's chocolate comes from Criollo. 85% of the world's chocolate comes from Forastero. And the hybrid, the cross between those two, is Trinitario. Now what we do, we'll walk up the way here and you can see the pods on the tree where we actually harvest. And another distinction that we have is that we take the chocolate from the cocoa tree to the finished product. The industry takes it from the dried bean to the finished product. And because we do grow as well as process, we're the only entity of its kind within an industrialized nation that grows and processes chocolate. Now these are the Forastero cacao trees. They will live 40 to 60 years, takes 4 years to come to fruition. Have to have a minimum of 50 inches of rain spread evenly. And they're cauliflower and ramiflora, means that the pods and flowers come on the trunks of the tree as well as the limbs of the tree.
Oh, wow.
Now the little bloom, let me show you the blooms. And again, they come on the limbs and the trunks of the tree. They have 5 petals, 5 sepals, 5 stamen, and no fragrance. Now coffee is a member of the gardenia family. So when the star bloom comes out of the coffee tree, has a real nice fragrance, but the little cacao bloom has no fragrance whatsoever. And once the bloom unfurls, it has to be pollinated within the first hour of blooming. And the principal pollinator is a little midge fly. Few ants and few bees will pollinate the blooms, but it's principally midges. And midges are nocturnal and daytime pollinators, so they're constantly here pollinating, and they will pollinate 6 to 10% of all the blooms on the tree. Now what emerges from the blooms are little cacao shirelles. They're little baby pods. I'm trying to find one that's been emitted here. Here it is right here. There's a little itty bitty pod coming out right there. Now that's a cacao shirelle. And these trees at times can have thousands and thousands of blooms. And if you take the pollinating factor of 6 to 10%, that's a lot of these little baby shirelles that the tree brings forth. But the tree can't support them all. So what you then have are these diebacks. The tree will die back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of those little infantile pods because it knows it cannot take to full ripeness all those little newly born pods on the tree. Now the pods that the tree elects to take to full ripeness take 5 months, 150 days before it's ready to be cut from the tree. And you can see it's attached to the tree with very thick stem. The tree will never drop these pods ever spontaneously. They have to be cut from the tree. It takes 75 days till the pods mature. It's 5, and with the Forastero you have the subspecies, so you get different shape pods, color pods, complexion pods, and size pods. Size of a Forastero pod can run from 6 inches up to 14 inches. And as the pods develop into that first 75 days size-wise, internally there starts to generate a fibrous membrane. It's called the cocoa placenta. And what emerges from that cocoa placenta are 30 to 40 cocoa beans, or cacao beans. And it takes 65 days for those beans to ripen. So that juncture, the pod's been on the limb of the tree or the trunk of the tree 140 days. Then there's a window of time, 8 to 10 days, the pod will start making a color transition from an unripened state to a ripened state. Now you won't see any color where we're standing because we've harvested here, but this is a variegated pod. This will turn a golden red pod. We have reds, we have fuchsias, we have rainbow colors, we have yellows. So it's kind of like an Easter egg hunt when you come in here harvesting. You're looking for all the nice bright colors. And what we do is we take the pods, we cut them, we harvest every 2 weeks year-round 26 times a year. Now the industry doesn't grow. They have contract with growers throughout the world that do all that for them. And they may harvest once a year or a seasonal basis because they can allow for attrition. But this is a very precious commodity for us. Now inside a cocoa pod, there's an anti-germinating enzyme. And as long as the pod's on the tree in its prime, that enzyme is active. But if the pod remains on the tree too long and gets overly ripe, that enzyme will deteriorate, allows the beans to germinate right in the pod. And we can't use a germinated cacao bean for making chocolate. So that's the reason we come in every 2 weeks to catch them in the prime. All right, we're going to now show you what we do when we take the beans from the orchard. Pods from the orchard. No extra charge for the mosquitoes.